So let's break down the solo for Stairway to Heaven, a real iconic guitar solo here. It's in the key of A minor. So the chord progression is A minor, G major, and F major. Now you could play those as power chords or whatever. But that's a pretty typical kind of chord progression. And so as Jimmy is playing over this, it's primarily based off pentatonic, but there are a couple of other things that happen in there. So let's start breaking this down a little bit. So the first thing you've got is this sort of just real signature traditional kind of movement here. Now, the whole thing is pentatonic until the very last note, which normally if you were in pentatonic, you'd go to the 7th fret, you'd go to the note E here. But of course, he's going to F because his final chord is F. So he's making that adjustment. So you're going to do this bend on the 7th fret. And then you're going to come down this pentatonic. Now you can use picking, you can use hammer-ons, pull-offs. The trick with this is it is kind of fast. So you have to play this however you can to execute it effectively. Right? If you look up tab or something like that, sometimes you're going to see it all written with, hammer-ons or pull-offs and sometimes whatever. And what I'm telling you is the most important thing is that you figure out what's going to work best for you because you're the one that has to play it. You're the one that has to execute it. So as I'm playing this, I'm not really thinking in terms of which ones I'm doing hammer-ons or pull-offs or picking, but if I break down, I start off doing picking, but let's look at the actual pattern here. So we got 5, 8, 5, 7, 5, 7. So those are the two options that you'd sort of have, is to do pull-offs or pick-up. And then you're going to turn around, go back to the 3rd string, and you're going to play 7, 5, 7, 5 to that 8. Yeah, to be honest with you, I think most of the time I play the first part picking and the second part with pull-offs, and I don't really have any idea why. It just feels most comfortable to me. So think about that a little bit. Okay, and then we move into the next part. So here we're going to do this bend on the 8th fret, and then right away go to the 8th fret of the 1st string. And oftentimes I'll do that with my 3rd finger and then use my pinky for the 8 underneath. But when I go to do the bend, I go to my trusty 3rd finger to have the strength that I need to bend it up. And then I'm going to come back down. And I'm going to play this little 8, 5, 5, 8 with the slide to 10. And I usually slide with my 3rd finger, but again, there's no reason why you couldn't slide with your pinky if it felt better to you. And then you end with this. Now again, pentatonically, we'd go to the 9, but he's going to the 10th fret. Why? Because that's an F. He's on that chord at that point. Now you've got this long sequence here, which is very reminiscent of the first thing you did. So again, you've got to decide how you want to do that. You start with your... But we're going to the 7th fret this time. So we come off that. And then... So that's how we end that. So coming off. And then we go into. So again, it starts off very similar, but then it kind of gets different after that. So we come off just like before, but then we're going to do a little hammer-on pull-off. Double this. And then come back around. And then what we're going to do is this. So there's the first time we kind of see something new. Right there. Guess what note it is? If you guessed F, you are correct. Then we're going to move up to that thing. Now you could do that as a slide or a hammer-on. And that sets up. And again, if we were in A minor pentatonic, we'd be fine with all this, but he uses this one, and guess again what note that is. F. And then we go into our lick. Now, the trick with that is as you're playing this, you want to try and really target this note right here. So I'm playing, so I'm doing that lift and then a pull off. And it takes a little while to get used to playing it, and it also takes a little while to get used to the timing of it. Okay, so I'm coming off my... Okay, and then at that point, I'm going to be moving into this bend on the 15th fret, and then I've got... And here I am playing the 12th fret. Okay, so I came off this into... Okay, just straightforward. My harmony bend there, bend that up. So I'm bending it up, playing this note, bringing that back down, doing my pull off. Then I move up. Okay, so now I'm up here on the 19th and 20th frets. 17 over here. Another harmony bend, which is the same as those, but I want to head up to this 17. Back to the 20, and then I'm going to go. So here again, I've got that lift, I've got that bend, comes down, does a pull-off, which we see all over the place in Jimmy's playing. And then we do our bend. Okay, then we get to some really interesting bends here. We're going to go to the 14th fret and the 12th fret, and we're going to go. And we're bending it up. Step and a half. And then we're going to come down to the 10th fret, and we're going to bend it up 2 whole steps. That's a big one. And then we're going to go... Now, I've dabbled with, trying to move down to this, which is fine too. But I just found visually it was easier for me to go from this 2 fret or 2 whole step bend into that little pattern like that. But if you'd rather... you could do something like that too. And then you end with the... And what I'm doing right there is I'm barring over the 17th fret. I'm going to play the 17th of the 2nd string. And then I'm going to start my pattern doing a pull off from 20 to 17 on the 1st string. And then to the 17 again. And I end it with that 17 on the 2nd string and go right into a bend on the 20th fret of the 1st string. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff happening in here, very traditional kind of 70s rock and roll that still bleeds into players today. Very traditional kind of blues rock and roll stuff happening here. So you see a lot of these really great bends, harmony bends, these bends coming down to a pull-out, all over. The repetition of the guitar lick. We hear a lot of that happening here with these. And, but just the repetition of patterns too. I was using a lot of this same stuff over and over and over, but he phrases it a little bit differently each time. So it's not always, it doesn't sound exactly the same because where it winds up on the beat is a little bit different, which is kind of cool too. And then, of course, adding that note F in all over the place in his pentatonic, which is pretty cool. So, a great guitar solo, certainly worth checking out. Thank you for watching this video. If you're enjoying this video and you'd like to support the channel so we can continue to bring you more free content, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications and let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, if you'd like more in-depth training and courses, go to guitarzoom.com and get started for free today.